So good evening, everybody. We are going to start with my report. Then we're going to allow Mr. Mercedes to give his report. And we have the director from the after school program join us. And she's going to give you information about the after school program. To start, while we gather and we get more parents coming in, I'm going to start with a video about the Leader in Me. A Leader in Me is a program that we do at our school to be able to train the students on the 7 habits. And this starts in the 6th grade, and we do it all the way through the 8th. Some of the kids that you see in the video are already 8th graders, and they are very eloquent when it comes to talk about the 7 habits, and they practice it. So hopefully we start on the 6th grade, and when they get by the 8th grade, they already master all the 7 habits.
My name is Zena, and I'm going to be talking about my Leader in Me experience. So I joined the Leader in Me when I was in 6th grade. Now I'm in 8th grade, and I remember being really bad at public speaking. I was not really comfortable with speaking or doing any public speaking. So I would only work on slides and PowerPoint instead of presenting. And then I decided to give tours to visitors. So visitors would come to our school, and we would give them a tour and show them around our school. And that was really comfortable because it was almost like having a one-on-one conversation with someone. And then I decided to go on trips, and that was really fun because we would present IXL, Lightsail, and we got to go to new places. I remember last year we went on an overnight trip. It was 2 days, and we had a lot of activities, and we introduced the 6th graders to the 7 habits and the Leader in Me, and it was like a leadership recruit trip, and that was really fun. Overall, the Leader in Me and the 7 habits have helped me become more confident in myself, do better in school, and get experience that not many people would experience, and I'm very thankful for that.
Hola, mi nombre es Yandel Castillo y mi hábito favorito es buscar primero entender, luego ser entendido. Este es mi hábito favorito porque explica cómo tú puedes ser una persona que puedes entender a los demás, para que los otros te puedan entender también. Por ejemplo, si tú tienes un conflicto, tú debes entender el punto de vista de la otra persona para poder resolver el conflicto, donde todos están satisfechos con la resolución. También esto te puede decir ganar, ganar. Por ejemplo, un día mi amigo se puso muy enojado con otro de mis amigos. Lo que yo hice fue, yo le pregunté, ¿qué está pasando? ¿Y por qué tú crees que él hizo eso? Y después cuando yo entendí, eso fue más fácil para que yo lo ayudaría, a cómo resolver el conflicto. Gracias, y eso es porque el hábito número 5 es mi favorito hábito.
So what you saw there was pictures of the team building exercises that we did last year, where we took our sixth graders to a trip where they learn about leadership and you know, fortunately we are not able to do this year, but we showed them the pictures, and hopefully, you know, sometime in the future we will be able to do activities like that with them also. So let me then share another something else that we were working on. Last week we did a Halloween activity for the students, and this was something that Ms. Soriano, the art teacher, did with. She invited all the kids, and these are the kids who participated. These are the type of pictures they did during that event. So as you see, we have very, very talented students. And this was a family-oriented activity. It was done after hours, and you know, she did a great job. This one over here, Melanis, she was the one who won the prize with the most votes. You know, she won a $5 gift card from Dunkin' Donuts. So, you know, we try to give them incentives and things like that. But the main point was to do something safe for Halloween, where they could be entertained, and of course, everything is virtual now. So I just wanted to highlight our arts teacher. I would try to convince her to do the same thing for Thanksgiving, because it was very entertaining. My next point is something that I was witness today, and I've been knowing it for the past weeks, but today I was witness of it, where a student was having issues, and he shared the screen, and when he shared the screen, I noticed that he was playing Call of Duty in one side of the computer, and was in a Zoom conference with a teacher on the other side. And you know, I addressed the fact why he was doing that, and everything falls down on students using personal devices for classes. Our our iPads are limited to the things that they could do. So they're not able to download games and none of that. So a lot of them are putting a resistance of using the iPads that we provide for them. You know, so I know that a lot of parents went and they bought $1,000 iPads, the big ones, and they bought computers thinking that no, my child has the best and my child will do the best. But using those private devices, they have options available. And also, a lot of these apps that the Board of Education is paying for don't work well with private devices. They work in sync along with all the other apps that have been approved. So that's why we're having a lot of glitches between apps in private devices. So if you don't have an MS390 tablet, you could request a tablet from the city. Mr. Ortiz and I are in the building to give you support for whatever situation may come. But we urge parents to use the MS390 tablets or the city tablets, because when they use personal devices, these are the type of things that will happen, where they're listening to the teacher on one side and then playing on another screen. And you know, these it doesn't, when you, because you would only concentrate on one thing at the same time. With that said, I just want to I reiterate that we have a help chat every day from 8:30 in the morning all the way to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I have sent 2 emails out this week, but it has been since September on our website. So whatever issues there are, you always go in there. If it's not Ms. Cart, it will be Ms. Poe. If not, it's Mr. Ortiz or myself. There will be somebody there to answer questions and to help right away. Often parents send me emails about situations that they don't have the link or they don't have the information. And by the time I send the information out, has passed an hour sometimes. And that's an hour that the child is not engaging in the class. Meanwhile, in the chat, any one of us could give them the information right away. And if we have multiple children, we just create multiple chats and invite them, and each one of us will help them. So that's why we are promoting this. One, because it's very effective, and we're investing a lot of time in it. It's not easy being connected for 6 hours, and everything I'm doing, every time I hear that somebody comes in, I go right away to the computer and see how can I help. So please take advantage. For those 7th grade parents, we did an assembly for all 7th graders. If you didn't see it, please look in your emails and see some of the emails that I sent last week, or simply send me a text or an email and tell me, Mr. Duran, I didn't see the 7th grade presentation. I would like to see it. And I send you the link. Everything is on our YouTube channel, Spanish and English. And finally, I just want to promote that we have our parent-teacher conference. It will be the 19th, but because it's virtual and we cannot attend to all the parents at the same time, remember there's 550 of you, and there are very few of us compared to that number. So a lot of teachers have already reached out to parents to do individual meetings.
Thank you, Mr. Duran. Good evening, parents. This is Ms. Poe, 8th grade counselor. Along the same information, teachers are conducting right now one-to-one conferencing with parents, and also they are conducting virtual group conferencing with parents, primarily with the students that are not doing very well at this time. And we want to make sure that we reach out to everyone in those categories first, because we want to allow time for students to get on track so they can get a satisfactory report card during the holidays. Thank you, Mr. Duran.
Okay, so you could always reach out to us to make an appointment with a teacher. If you don't know the teacher's information, we could put you in contact with those teachers. Mr. Mercedes, or yours?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Duran. So one of the things that I wanted to actually talk and give you guys a lot of the things that we're planning, and a lot of exciting things that are happening in our building, despite the fact that we 90% of us are not here. But we're moving forward with a lot of the innovation, a lot of the improvement, so that when we all come together, we have we don't fall too much behind. And so one of the things that as I was listening to Mr. Duran, a lot of things came to my mind in terms of what would I say to you guys, and like one of the things that I want to say is that it's just a statement. One community like ours, we tend to make other people rich, right? So a lot of people get rich on the back of us, right? So why? Because we want to buy the most expensive sneaker, we want to buy the latest technological device, we want to be the first ones to buy things that all normally depreciate, right? And so and that's what happens. We tend to participate in a culture that doesn't benefit us, but it benefit others. So we need to begin to try to treat our kids like an investment, right? Because that's what they are. What you want for your kids is that, you give them the opportunity, you give them the resource, you sacrifice yourself so that, later on in the future, you can benefit from that sacrifice. But that can only happen if you are extremely diligent, and that you hold not only your child but us accountable. Because at the end of the day, they're going to be here with us for 2 years, and then they're going to be transitioning to high school. The saddest part about it is that when a child transitions to high school, then you have a set of other adults that are responsible for the needs of your kids that you don't know. And so in high school, the access to folks are extremely limited. And the relationships that you tend to build in a high school is not as closely knit as the ones that you can develop here. Same thing as the elementary school. You were in elementary school since kindergarten, and most of you have developed a relationship with the people that are there that are servicing your kid. But then when you go to middle school, it tends to be, you have more teachers, you have more people to know, and there's only like 3 years in which you can develop those relationships, and then all of a sudden we go. So one of the things that I want to be able to, really emphasize tonight, is that, we need to hold our kids accountable to the fact that oftentimes we talk about unfinished learning, and that's what our kids are experiencing now. It is very difficult for a child to grasp all of the curricular and all of the responsibility for learning in normal situations where they are in person with a teacher for hopefully 180 school days. Right now, the situation is just a little bit tenable because both the teacher and the students are in situations that are oftentimes new, as well as you are being asked to create learning environments in your home, and your home is not designed to create learning environments. Teachers are asked to, through a device, to engage kids from 8:30 to 2, and that's not the way that they've been trained, right? So we're together. And so we want to make sure that the best way to support the child, the teacher, and you is to have that constant communication. And once that communication breaks, then that's when we start to kids starts to fall through the cracks. And then if you don't treat it like an investment, like if I know that if you get your bank statement and there's $800 missing, for example, from your bank statement, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make sure to find out what happened with those $800. The same thing, if a child is missing school, we need to make sure that we address that immediately. If a child is not performing the way that you feel that they need to perform, we have to make sure that we take either that email or that phone and make sure that we hold people that are teaching our kids accountable. And so we want to make sure that I address that point tonight. And so as we move forward, our school, and I'm glad to report that we're putting a lot of these safety nets in place. But again, part of it is we can have the safety net, but if we don't have the constant communication with the teachers, then it's just going to be something nice that we put together, right? So by this time, you should have had conversations with your teacher. You should by this time know who the teacher is, email the teacher, set up, there's going to be parent-teacher conference, but we don't have to wait for parent-teacher conference to talk about, what is the trajectory of my child, and is my child, college ready, and what are you as a teacher doing to address, the issue of the fact that learning online is very difficult. So those are the things that we want to be able to address to our teachers and make sure that we're in constant communication. as we move forward as a school, we are glad to report that we are now in the process of placing solar panels on the rooftop, and that's going to provide us with greater efficiency in terms of the electricity in our building. And so, you know, the work is going to start next month. And so that was a great victory. We're one of the only schools in the city that's going to be equipped with solar panel that is going to make life a little easier. In a couple of days, we received the go-ahead and the funding to replace all of the access points in our school. So that means that the Wi-Fi is going to be faster than before, and that you're not going to have interruption from going from one room to the other. So you can walk through our school, and each access point is going to pick you up without interruption. So that's great. We have invested a great deal of resources and devices. We have devices here. We're continuing to order devices in the event that there's a device that is not functioning correctly, that we can begin to disseminate those devices, and so that there is no excuse or that kids cannot say, oh, my device doesn't work. You can, you know, grab the phone, or you can grab the you know, go online, and there's going to be people there that are going to be helping you with that. We have invested a great deal of resource in making sure that our teachers understand how to teach under these conditions, right? So we're looking at how do we reinvest our resources in making sure that the curriculum, that it is a difficult curriculum that we oftentimes teach is a research based curriculum that is grounded, you know, on critical thinking skills. And so we want to make sure that our teachers continue to excel in providing that quality instruction to our kids, and our kids don't fall behind. One of the things that we also are investing on our platform, School for One, major improvement. You're going to like a lot of the platforms that are set so that we can develop a good instructional program. Lysel is our reading application. Over 25, we're going to increase it to about 25,000 books that are basically those books are aligned to the different types of Lexile levels that kids have. iExcel is a math version of the reading program. So we have a lot of things that we're doing, a lot of innovative programs that we have, so that we can begin to address, you know, the fact that kids are no longer taking in-person instruction on a full-time basis. The other is just want to talk about the program that you guys just witnessed, which is the Leader in Me, which is a staple of what we do as a school. We've been doing the Leader in Me for quite some time. Unfortunately, we couldn't have a leadership retreat this year for incoming sixth graders. Last year's leadership retreat was extremely successful. We decided to begin with the sixth grade with a leadership retreat, and the purpose was for the venue that we utilize is Club Getaway, and so they have a different program that they take kids through. And so what our eighth graders who were part of the LIM program decided to do, they wanted to be they wanted to put the program, they do the program. They did a lot of work in terms of developing these types of workshops for the sixth graders, and it was a beautiful sight, and it was an overnight trip. So kids were coming into our school for the first time, no relationship with them, and you guys trusted us with your kids overnight. right? And it was a great experience. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we're not able to do that. We hopefully sooner than later we'll be able to continue that. And we heavily invest not only in the instructional program but in the social emotional component of our program. And it's the whole student, right? It's what they're learning, how they're learning, and why they're learning what they learn. The other different partnerships that we're having, and I'm, going into our Title I program. So we have all of our classrooms are going to be equipped. All of our classrooms are equipped with per medium board, which is a 60-inch device that is in just like a blackboard. But now we're going to be upgrading those per medium boards, and now they're going to be 80-inch with the capacity to mirror image multiple devices. So if a child has a question, that child can write that question and then mirror image to the per medium board. And so it makes it a lot easier for the teachers to really address a lot of the multiple levels in their room. So that per medium board is going to be there is a one-to-one iPad and laptop, and we're going to continue to do that. We're going to we have the capacity now to upgrade all of our laptops, and so a lot of the kids are not using those laptops. That's how gifted we are. They're using most of our iPads. We probably have about 1,000 iPads in the building at this point. And so for us, it's just the way we actually use the device to move and push instruction. We never use the device for entertainment purposes. And so that's when Mr. Duran was saying that now kids are taking their personal devices. They'll have a game on one hand, and then they'll have an iPad on the other hand. So we have to make sure that we're vigilant in terms of the supervision of our children once they're engaged in instruction. I didn't mention DreamYard because DreamYard, Nadia is on the call. Unfortunately this year, that's one of the highlights of our program, where we continue the instruction, right? So we're here from 8 o'clock all the way to like 5:30. And so you have the opportunity, and kids have the opportunity to engage in extracurricular arts, program that they offer us, and it's a true partnership. The other is we're now going to have parent workshops on technology, because we understand that technology is a language, and so we need to make sure that we provide you with the tools that you need in order for you guys to support your students your kids at home. We understand that, and it was evident this year that learning just doesn't happen in the school. So learning, happens all through our building. We're going to be investing a great deal of resources in making sure that all of the old furniture that we have, we're going to displace those furniture and then equip our classrooms to represent more of what's happening, right? So, in some classrooms, you have a situation where there's kids at home, and so there are kids in the building. And so how do we begin to address those populations at the same time? So we're trying to, get that, because once we come back as a school, we can't say, okay, all those skills that we learned on the remote side, let's just, let it go. We have to try to see how do we begin to take advantage of those new learning and those new skills that we develop. At this time, there shouldn't be a child who's absent, right? So if a child is sick, the child, should have the opportunity when we come back as a group to log on to a classroom. And teachers in our building are extremely confident with me doing live instruction or live streaming, as we call it. So they shouldn't be a child that is saying, I'm sick, or it's too cold outside, or it's raining too much, it's a snowstorm. instruction it doesn't necessarily have to be in the school building. So this is one of the things that we're watching. It's one of the things that we're trying to do. But my biggest concern is addressing the unfinished learning, and then how do we begin to capture or begin to assess, what the high school are going to need or going to require. So we want to be able to understand that, our kids are our biggest investment. We have to treat it that way, because, we're setting up their future, right? So that when they're successful, they can come back and take care of us. And so that's something that we need to really hold harmless with that. I am grateful to you guys because, again, you didn't ask for this. We're all in this together. Our teachers are struggling because they have, little ones at home, and they have to also work, right, remotely. So oftentimes, and then you, on the other hand, you have your apartment, but now your apartment is a classroom, and so that wasn't part of the deal, right? When you signed that lease, right? And so now, we're asking, for you guys to create some environment so that we can continuously move and push the kids forward. And finally, a flagship program, which is the specialized high school, where we're now going to be adding, hopefully, more classes and more students to take advantage of those exams that our kids are capable of having. We're going to be starting. We usually start in sixth grade, and so we're trying to provide. We have capable teachers that are willing to take that leap. But again, it also depends on if the support at home. If we will be able to do that. And I'm sure that last year we had two kids, one tested into Stuyvesant, which was the first time ever, right? One tested into Bronx High School of Science. And I think that we have the potential. We have the teachers that are willing to prepare those kids. It is a challenge. And so once a child enters a school like Stuyvesant High School, the future is set. That child is going to a prestigious college. Oftentimes, it's a $70,000 a year investment that oftentimes you're not paying for that. It's a scholarship. And so we want to make sure that we want to put kids in those types of situations where you're not asked to contribute to a college education. That college education is afforded to you. And now, if you don't have $50,000 saved up for a 1 year charge for tuition, then you're not going to have access to quality education down the road. But again, it starts with us, right? We have to prepare those kids to have the chance and the opportunity to go into those types of environment. Because if they go to those types of environment, they'll be able to succeed. I have no doubts. We have the best staff in the city, and they do so much for our kids. And so I think we all need to thank them. Because it's they do so much, and so I always and I'm thanking them for sure. But Mr. Dora, I want to any questions in terms of Title I? What are we going to do with some of the we are we're better than 96% of the schools in the city because we have a SIG grant which covers about $400,000. We're able to provide teachers with the support that is needed. We're able to, enjoy the latest technological advances there. And so we want to make sure that you guys are happy with the service that we're providing. This is unlike any other school. The pandemic really put us back because a lot of the things that we do, a lot of the programs that we promote are programs where requires the student and the teacher to have in-person contact. But we're making it happen remotely. And so, that is, no excuse, but we're making it happen.
Yes, and remember that the SLTs meetings are public. So, Maria, do you remember when is the next SLT from the top of your head?
I do. We have November 12th and November 18th. Those are the meetings that are going to be taking place in the month of November.
Okay, I'll be sending an invitation for those meetings. For the parents that don't know what SLT is the School Leadership Team. It's a team comprised of parents and school officials, and that's where everything that has to do with the school is discussed. So it's not a meeting like this one where it's a back and forth on many topics. It's a meeting where usually the chairperson will have an agenda, and only those parents that were elected have the option to vote. All the other parents will be there just to listen to the meeting. And for those that don't know, Ms. Maria Villalobos, she is your parent president. She forgot to introduce herself. Is there any?
Sorry, yes. My name is Maria Villalobos, and I am your Parent Association president for the 2020-2021 year.
And can we get the other titles too?
Sure. I am the vice president for this upcoming year, also for the 2020-2021 for the President's Council of District 10. And I am the second vice president of the Community Education Council for District 10 as well.
A very involved parent. So there's someone that you should have in your corner. Please reach out to her. She's not an employee of the school. She's another parent just like you.
Yes, absolutely. I'm typing in the chat box Ms. Acosta email. She is our attendance teacher. So we know that emergencies happen, but we need to let us, you need to let us know. We need to be in constant communication. We want to know, what is going on with our students. We want to know that everything in the, in the family, it's okay, and if there's any other way that we can support our families, but we need to be in constant communication. In case a student is absent, you can send an email to the teacher, but the best person to communicate with, it would be Ms. Acosta, and I already shared her email in the chat box. Communicate with the teacher, Ms. Acosta. You can send an email to Ms. Harris. Ms. Harris is one of our assistant principals, and she's also monitoring attendance. The fact that the student is not able to log in to the Zoom meeting, but due to, an excused absence, that's what it is. It doesn't mean that the student, you communicate with us, there's a doctor's appointment, or unfortunately, the family, doesn't have access to Wi-Fi. Yes, we appreciate that communication, but that would be an excused absence.
Okay.
We also need to see the students logging in. They have to turn on the cameras. That's the only way that we can mark them present.
Right.
We need to hear from them. We also take attendance every period. Every period, school starts from 8:30 for the students until 2 o'clock, right? And talking about attendance, we have been noticing a pattern, unfortunately. So from 10:55 to 11:40, students have lunch. Teachers have lunch as well, right? That's the only break that we have. After 11:40, we still have 2 more periods, including homeroom of instruction. And what we have been noticing is that after 11:40, our students check out. They don't come back to the Zoom meetings. So unfortunately, if that happens, we're gonna have to mark the student present just in the morning and then absent in the afternoon. So the expectation is for our students to be present, fully present, from 8:30 to 2. We need our students to come back after lunch. Learning doesn't stop at 11:40. They need to come back. Learning ends, direct instruction finishes at 2 o'clock. Then from 2 to 2:20, the teachers are available. Parents, if you have questions, you need to communicate with teachers. They are available every day, Monday through Friday, from 2 to 2:20.
Hi, I would just like to add on. Hello, my name is Miss Cruz, and I'm one of the 7th grade teachers. In the event that your child has a doctor's appointment and you know ahead of time, you can also reach out to us ahead of time, because we use Google Classroom, and the work that's going to have to be done the next day is usually there. So even though your child might not be able to be present in school, they can still complete the assignments because it's all listed in Google Classroom. So even though they're absent, if you know ahead of time, it would be best if you could reach out maybe the day before, and then the teacher can email you what the assignments is, or let you know that the assignments for the next day will be already posted. So if they do have Wi-Fi, or you do have hotspot, and you go to the hospital and they have a phone, and the app is already on the phone, because you can put Google Classroom on your cell phone, they can do things like still read on light cell. They can do things like still do their quick write or some of their assignments. So even though they're not physically present in the classroom, that still should not stop them from doing the assignments that they were assigned to do that day.
Okay, so I would just like to, I answer a question from somebody in the chat that they requested an iPad and they haven't received it yet. I put up the link to send an inquiry, and they will tell you if the iPad was delivered, if it was not, or where's the iPad. It is not good to apply for another iPad without sending the inquiry, because then they're going to deny the second, because the first one is already in progress. So if the first one never arrived, you need to find out where the first one is. So I put the link there on the chat for the family support that has to do with iPads and all the technology for the Board of Education.
Mr. Duran, I have a question. In the meantime, while our families and students are waiting for the DOE iPad, can they come to 390 to receive an MS390 iPad?
If we have available at the moment, yes. I would suggest that you call us and let us know when you're going to pass by. But we are not holding on to we're not reserving iPads for more than one day, because people have been telling us, oh, I'm going to pass by tomorrow, and a week passed by and the iPad is there just waiting for them to pick it up, while other people are waiting for one. So we're just going to hold it for one day. You don't pick it up, we give it to the first person who shows the next day. And when your iPad arrives to the school, then we'll call you and we'll swap the devices. The difference between the two devices is the MS390 iPad doesn't have internet, and it belongs to the school. The city iPad is a loaner that the city is lending you, not the school. So you are responsible for that iPad. So if I sign for that iPad at the school, I call you and you never come to pick it up, at some point the city is going to call you to ask you for that device. And you're probably going to say, oh, I never received it, I never got it. And then you're going to show the signature that Mr. Duran has it. So if Mr. Duran is not available, then you will have a problem in your hands. So it's best when I tell you that your iPad is in the school, come swipe it out, and you will have an iPad with internet ready and all the bells and whistles. And now they're coming 128 gigs, and ours is only 32. So it's a bigger device with bigger storage, and it's a lot better. Anyone else? Okay, so if we don't have any more questions, I would like to give a moment to Ms. Nadia. She is the director for the Dream Yard program. That is the after-school program in the school.
Sorry about that, I didn't realize. Well, good night, everyone. I'm Ms. Nadia, the program director of the Dream Yard after-school program. So I just want to quickly tell you a little bit about how we're operating right now during the situation. So we are not currently in the building. We are prepared to return to the building as soon as there are any students that show interest of wanting to stay after school. So typically our hours in the building are 2:30 to 5:30. So if any of your children or you are interested in after-school services, we are prepared to return to the building. Right now, we are working remotely, so we're offering our programs online. I do know that the students are spending a lot of time online as it is, but we are offering academic tutoring for an hour, Tuesday through Fridays. So it's a great service from the teachers at 390 that your children can take advantage of. We're also offering arts-based classes such as dance, visual arts, arts and crafts, and many other things of that nature if you're looking for your child to do something extra other than academics right now. Maybe to build their interests, build their hobbies, just getting involved in something else. The academic tutoring, again, is there available to help your child in any way with homework, projects, anything that they may need help with, any questions that they may have. If you're interested in the program, you can email me. I'm going to put my email in the chat. There is an online application. I'll send you the link. But we also have paper applications that are available at 390 in the main office that you could pick up before 2 p.m. So I'm going to put my email in the chat now. And if anyone has any questions about the program or what we offer, please do ask.
Thank you, Ms. Nadia.
You're welcome.
If you have any questions about the after-school program, you could reach out to Ms. Nadia, or you could reach out to me, and I will pass the information along to her. Also, the application is available at the school, at the front desk. You could pass by and pick one up. It's available also online. It's a little lengthy online, but it's doable. Okay, so I have another question. I know that a lot of you have listened to the news where they're saying that now parents have a second option to opt to blend in instruction. That's where the students go 2 days of the week to the school, and then the following week they go 3 days. So what is the status of that? Mr. Mercedes and Ms. Barona would like to talk to us about it.
Yeah, a lot of times when we go through this process, there's so much that we want to say, and we don't have that much time. And so one of the things that I do wanted to add was that the blended learning window recently opened. However, this is a big however. If you are interested in having the in-person instruction, the problem with that is two things. One, things are done for compliance purposes, and oftentimes, they're not done with the best interests of the child, right? So if you're an 8th grade parent and you're interested in having in-person instruction, what we're saying is that we recommend that you continue with that teacher that you are online with, because you're not going to have the opportunity to have that same instructor. So for example, if you've been in your class with Ms. Smith, who's one of the best teachers in the city, and Ms. Casasi, both those teachers, right? I will not be able to produce another Ms. Smith and another Ms. Casasi. I will have to hire a sub to teach or to try to teach your child. And so that's the struggle, behind that decision. I want to offer, we want to see the kids again in person. And so, what we're trying to do is to have that conversation with the teachers, so that the teachers can actually be the ones that can say, we can. It's best that you have that conversation, not with me, but what I do is just give you access. But that the teachers are the ones that are going to say to you, I recommend it or I don't recommend it.
While you formulate your questions about it, I'm going to show you the process to do so if you wish. This is the This is the form. It's just the same as the other one, and the deadline is November 15th. One of the questions that everybody always ask me as a parent coordinator is what's going to happen in the winter when it's cold and the classrooms need to have their windows open. So coincidentally, yesterday I was listening to the mayor's briefing, and I recorded this clip for all of you. So the mayor will answer that question for you.
Totally separate point. It's cold outside, and we're hearing from teachers and students that in classrooms it's also cold inside. And we know that windows are being left open to improve ventilation, but as it gets colder and colder, is the plan to keep those windows open, or is there another option for ventilation that will help people stay warm in the winter?
Jessica, it's a real important question and a very common sense question. I thank you for it. So the head of the school facilities efforts at DOE, Kevin Moran, and his team have done a great job on this. It really depends on the school and the classroom. There are schools where they'll be able to keep the windows open and adjust the temperature effectively. There are schools where they've added filtration systems so they don't need to have windows open. There are schools or individual classrooms really where they'll have to put air purifiers in the room. It's all tailored to each school and each classroom, but this has been on our minds from the beginning of the school year. So generally, I think the fact will be that if a school can't keep the windows open and keep the room temperature at an acceptable level for the kids and the teachers, then that's the kind of place where we either put in additional filtration systems or put in air purifiers as an alternative.
There you go. If you have any questions. Do we have?
Can I clarify a couple of things?
Yes, please do.
Yeah. So what keeps the spread of this virus down is two things. Is a couple of things. One is social distancing, right? And not having 30 students in a classroom helps, right? So you have 4 or 5 kids in a classroom, and that really helps because you have social distancing, you have space. The other factor that we don't really look at is airflow. So as air is constantly moving, it's not stagnated, right? And so in situations where there's no air conditioning, in our building we don't have air conditioning, right? Then the air, when the window is open, is constantly moving, right? The problem is going to be that in the winter time, just like when you have outdoor dining, if it's 30 degrees out, are you going to feel comfortable eating outside and sitting? And the answer is probably no, right? We need to keep those windows open. And so would it be comfortable for a child to have the coat on sitting in a classroom because you can't really regulate the heat in the classroom. It's just like your apartment. If the boiler, it doesn't regulate who gets heating more or other. It's just one system, and that's what happens in our school. So our choice is to keep the windows open because we need to regulate the air.
Do we have a question from the parents or a comment you would like to share with us?
Yes, Ms. Harris, just for clarification, when students have an appointment, a doctor appointment, how can that equate during the day when it comes to the student to still be responsible for the work and in terms of, possibly still joining for the day at some point? How will that process work?
Well, we always want the students to join, even if they have to join late. And if it's a partial day attendance where they're logged into class, we ask that they communicate with their teachers so the teachers know that they have to leave for an appointment. When they just disappear, then teachers generate a cut notification because the student was present at some time. So a simple email to the teachers letting them know that they have a doctor's appointment and therefore they won't be in class the whole time is one thing. The other part is to provide documentation so that it can be substantiated and coded the right way for attendance. There are codes for medical absences, and we can only record those codes when we have documentation.
All right. Any question, any comment? While we formulate our questions, let me show you something, jumping onto another topic. Lately, I've been sending my emails with a caption on top saying, please don't reply to this email. If you need to do so, please do it in a new one, or something to that effect. And let me just explain why I'm doing this. It's because when I send the emails, a lot of the emails are not working. And then I receive notifications like these from those emails that are not working. And I get all kinds of notifications, and sometimes is a lot, is 50, 60. And then when somebody replies, your reply is between all of these non-delivered emails, and I missed it. So that's why some of you have said that, oh, I send you an email and you never respond. And this is the issue. I miss it because it's embedded into all the other non-delivered emails. So when I send you an email, I'm not sending it only to you. I'm sending it to 550 families and more, because sometimes it's mom and dad. So when you need to send me an email, when you need to reply to any of the things that I send, please do it on a separate one, so that way I could see exactly, we could follow it up, and you know, it's on my account visible. Because when you reply to those mass emails, it gets lost between all the things that bounce back to me. Okay. If anyone has anything else to say, I would like to thank everyone for joining us today. Have a great evening, and thank you for joining us tonight.